Alright, hello. I'm going to apologise up front. This is going to be extremely disjointed, and we've got a ton of tabs to get through, a whole bunch of interesting number jumps to get through. We're in no particular order here, so it's going to be all over the place. Anyway, what we're talking about is the Coldplay concert with the astronomer CEO, with the couple that are on Kiss Cam caught having an affair, okay? And so there was some references to Back to the Future, and I just want to go through those references, and there's some really, really interesting number jumps, and of course, no doubt those number jumps tie into the 1st of September. Okay, where to begin on this one? I have no idea. Anyway, I just brought this picture up because the astronomer in Back to the Future is Clara Clayton, okay, with the telescope. Excuse me. So it just made me think of that. There was a couple other things. The reason why I really started looking at this was because as my wife was reading the story out to me, she mentioned it was in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and I was like, oh, Massachusetts is MA, and actually when she was reading it she said Foxborough MA, and I'm like, oh, MA, Michael Andrew Fox. And for those of you who don't know, let's just do this really quickly before we even get onto the story here. So where the stadium is, the Gillette Stadium, yeah, home of the Patriots, Foxborough, Massachusetts. So Fox MA, okay, MA is the abbreviation for Massachusetts. Michael J. Fox, real name, Michael Andrew Fox, M.A. Fox, okay? Also note, I haven't been on Wikipedia for a while, and this picture, I think is new, I don't know. But anyway, look at the peat in the background. I cannot believe this when I saw it. Peat. So we've been doing the connection with Marty McFly with the gematria that matches Peter Hegseth, and no doubt in this decode we're going to be talking about the dude that was caught cheating, and his gematria also connecting to Pete Hegseth. Why is Pete Hegseth important? Because Pete Hegseth is born on the 6th of June, and from 6-6 is an 88-day jump to 9-1, 88 miles an hour, Sirius SHIT, okay? Anyway, so this connection already starting up with the area that this thing took place, okay? Let's get on to, let's just talk about what happened. So they just get caught on Kiss Cam, and they both duck out the way, and you know, old Chris Martin, of course, yeah, he's got the Christ Mary and the Martin and the Marty McFly, you know, the name connection as well, and obviously Coldplay connects us back to the play on the actual flu or the cold that we had with the C19. Coldplay connects us back to C19, which again is pi. If you watch my other decodes about that, about creating, you know, C19 is obviously, C is number 3, and then we have the 19, which is the P and the I. So you have the word pi, P-I-E, in that number, and also the 19 is pi by itself, P-I, okay? But anyway, we had the whole play on the cold, yeah? They played us with the cold, okay? The Coldplay. The Kiss Cam, again, Kiss, Christ, balance, and something happened here that was, you know, this is an end, I guess, to a few things probably going on here, okay? Note also, just before we get off of this, he calls them out, oh, they must be having an affair. This thing sounds so staged, it's unbelievable. And when we look at the gematria, you might say, yeah, it's definitely staged. But Who knows? So here they are as they're just getting caught. Notice she's got the black dress on, the black pearl, the matrix, you know, the corrupted version of the metaphysical. Notice he's wearing blue, so it's like he's trapped in the waters. Okay, he's trapped in the metaphysical right here. Okay, and what's he got now? He's got full disclosure. Okay, he's come out of the closet, so to speak, and the cat's out of the bag. And anyway, yeah, I don't want to be waffling on about, but notice the 11 up here with the lights, with the fire trail. Oh, super duper interesting. Anyway, this dude's name, Andy Byron. Okay, he's the astronomer CEO, hence our connection back with Clara Clayton. But let's do some gematria, and we'll go through some of that. Okay, so this is important, right? This is a reset for this dude now. Okay, it's almost like the confessional, you know. Time to start over again, dude. Okay. Let's do the gematria first, because we need to, shall I just turn this off because it's kind of annoying. Stop. Clocks. We're going to get onto clocks in a minute, okay? Because Coldplay, the song Clocks, is obviously tied to Back to the Future with the idea of time travel, and obviously the important clock in Back to the Future is the one where Marty makes a trip back and the clock stops, okay? And that also has our 9-1. There's about half a dozen good numbers that are in that scene there. 9-1, 194, 8-11, or 118, 9-11 obviously is there, and some, you know, variations on those numbers as well. Anyway, we're going to be looking at clocks here in a second. Let me show you. This is just absolutely crazy, the gematria here now, right? So this is the dude, Andy Byron now. Now, remember, we did the Peter Hegseth, okay, the Marty McFly connection, and notice that Michael J. Fox has the Pete badge on now on Wikipedia with the Pete background, okay. 136, we've got this crossover matchup there, and we've got the 53-53, okay. So it's a fairly good matchup. Now, if we look at this Andy Byron character, who's just got caught on Kiss Cam, okay. Again, let's look at the matchup with Pete Hegseth. This is really what he goes by, Pete, you know. Look at this matchup, 118, 118, and this might be why he's Pete, because 118 is in that scene. It's the car with the fire trails, okay, in the lightning scene in Back to the Future. 44-44. So look at this match. I mean, this is a pretty good matchup. Now, I was just saying about Clara Clayton, the astronomer, okay. Clara Clayton, 125-44. 125 with this Andy dude, 44 again, okay. So you start seeing some interesting matches going on, you know. I didn't really have anything for Mary Steenburgen, who plays Clara Clayton, apart from this whole thing is really sort of surfaced on the 18th, okay. Whereas the actual thing took place on the 16th of July, okay. And some of these stories came out on the 17th, and a whole bunch of them came out on the 18th. So I don't know really to make of that, but you can wangle days a day here and there with the number jumps that we'll see in a minute. But anyway, don't want to get too bogged down with that right now. But the 187, again, let's just look at something else here. Let's look at astronomer. Okay, and note that astronomer with the it's the 132 is going to match up with Chris Martin here. The 132, the 60, and the 60. So we've got this tie-in with astronomer Chris Martin. Okay. Oh dear. And what else did I have? Just out of interest, Coldplay is an 88 as well. Kind of interesting. Now, so you can see that we've got this Pete Hegseth matchup. Okay, we've got this Clara Clayton matchup. We've got the astronomer. Clara Clayton is the astronomer in Back to the Future. And it's connecting back to Chris and Mary again. Christ and Mary, Chris Martin and Marty. Okay. Oh, right. Let's do now Clocks. Okay, this song by Coldplay. Okay. That we just had playing in the background. Okay. There is something very interesting about clocks, okay, and the 6-3 will be important here in a minute, okay, and also the 99 right here is also important, especially with the you remember the number jump back, which is either a 66 or a 99 when the DeLorean gets hit by lightning. Kind of interesting there, because where we're actually going to be looking at first is Back to the Future 3 in the Wild West. So let's go to that now. And what we need to do is we need to go to the song actually and just mention a couple of things, because we need to know the release dates. Okay. 11/11/2002. If you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that 11/11 I go on about is a good Hoover Dam reference, because at the Hoover Dam we have the double 11s, okay, inside the dam. There's an 11 on one side and 11 on the other side with the 2 inlet towers, okay, and that also forms our 4 pillars of the clock tower, okay. And there's also some clocks at the Hoover Dam. They have Arizona time and Nevada time, okay. This is kind of interesting. A rush of blood to the head. Okay, the head of water is at the Hoover Dam. So this rush of blood is kind of interesting, with the idea of being alive again, the blood, the end of a cycle, women's cycle, yeah, the blood flow, and birthing, the blood coming out during the birthing ritual as well. Okay, when the waters break. Anyway, notice side B as well. Crests of waves, talking about the flood, and then animals, yes, going back to the wild, yeah, animals, yeah. And also, let's look at the length of the song here. 4:10, yeah, the time at which the clock stops, yeah, 10:04, right? So we have the numerology there for that. And also our other release date for the UK is the 17th of March 2003. So there's quite a bit of a gap between those release dates. Early 2000s, I don't know. I think this is deliberate to do the number jumps. So let's go and do the number jumps now. Let's start with this, okay? This is the US release of clocks, and then we're going back here to when the clock starts in Back to the Future. This is when they set the thing going. In fact, they set it going at 8 o'clock on this date. This is the town festival thing, yeah, the dance. This is when the clock starts. 428. Just forget the zeros, okay? 42,800. But we're just really looking at the numerology here, because again, the numerology that we're looking at here is the we're really going to be connecting this back to the 248 years cycle. Again, a beginning and end, just like the clock goes around in a cycle. Yeah, an orbit of Pluto is 248 years. Okay, and we know that Pluto is very important in Back to the Future. The DeLorean runs on it. The reference to plutonium may go deeper than just, you know, I mean, it's just it's deep. It's deep. It's heavy in the film. Okay, there's a lot of references to plutonium in the film, and a lot of our references to plutonium connect us back with Pluto, so forth and so on. Okay. Anyway, because I don't want to get too bogged down with trying to explain every last little bit of this, I'm hoping most people have seen the film multiple times and know what I'm talking about, or have at least seen some of my videos before this. So this is the release date of clocks through to the start of the clock in Back to the Future, 428. Let's look at the other release date. Okay, this is the UK release date for clocks through to 9/1, our Pi Day. Okay, and note there is a pi reference in the scene at the dance as well, where Marty throws the frisbee, the pie plate. Okay, the pie plate. Okay, so there's a nice pi reference at the at that dance where the clock starts. Could this be the clock stopping here? Okay, because what we have is we have the opposite numerology there, sort of thing. Okay, so whereas we had 428, yeah, 00. I guess I could put the zeros in there so you can see. Okay, now we've got 824. So this is, if you take those zeros out, this is a reflective number again, which is what we've been dealing with. What, reflective numbers are so important because what does that mean? It means it's balance. Okay, yeah, this is the teeter-totter in the middle of the number. It's balance. So when you see a reflective number, a palindromic number, it's that symmetry, yeah, displays balance. Okay, just as we have a symmetrical body, where our bodies are mirrored straight down the middle. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. I thought, well, that is very interesting that we've got that number coming up. So I could have just ended the decode here and said, well, that's good enough. But I thought, what, I better do a few other number jumps. Okay. And I thought, let's go back from 9/1. Let's go back 824 days. Okay. Because that's the number that we have mirrored. Okay. So I went back I could have done like loads of number jumps really, but there's enough in here already. So I haven't done every single number jump possible, but look where it brings us out. Why is this date so important? Forget the year. It's just these numbers here, right? Okay, I've got them up here. Okay, Leah Thompson. Okay, her birthday. She is playing Marty's mother in the film. Okay, May the 31st. Okay, Marty is playing Clint Eastwood in number 3. Birthday, May the 31st. And we've talked about this several times as well. The launch of the Titanic, May the 31st. Yeah, it's got the dam symbolism here. Yeah, the dam symbolism, right? The hull makes the V of the valley, and then we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 inlet towers. Yeah, the 11, 11. Leonardo DiCaprio's birthday is on 11/11. I wonder why they picked him to do that. I mean, oh dear. Okay. So, and we've just mentioned the 248-year orbit, didn't I, of Pluto, the connections with Back to the Future, and obviously things like Bye Bye Miss American. Pi is 842 long. It's 8 minutes 42 seconds long, that song. Interesting that it came out on that number, isn't it? So the 248 and 842, and obviously when we're dealing with that number, the 24th of August would be something to be looking at. So I thought, you know what? Oh no, let's put this on so I can explain it. I'll do a number jump that is actually 824, and then I got to pick a year. So I'll do another. This is actually, you can do this as an 824 because this is, if you use the clock, okay, the 24-hour clock. I'll draw a clock here. Okay, so if I use the clock and the 24-hour clock, 20 is 8 o'clock. Yeah, 2000 hours is 8 o'clock. So this is 824, which is in the 24-hour clock would be 2024. Okay, so I thought we'll do that number jump, and lo and behold, through to 91 is a 373, palindromic again. A mirrored number again. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Anyway, I click on it, and it becomes even more interesting because it's a 74th prime. Yeah, and what we're talking about is a reset. We're talking about Independence Day, coming out of the mother matrix, so to speak, the corrupted mother, and returning back to Mother Nature. 74. Oh, 47. Always got Donald Trump in there as well with 47. But yeah, I mean, I've just, I don't know what to say, But let's do some other numbers. So that's the 2-4. So that's the important stuff with the 248. But of course, again, where was that number jump we were just at? No, it was this one. What am I doing? I need to back up, scroll up. Again, 824 in the rest of the world, you could read that 248. Okay, 248, which would be our 248 Pluto orbit. Okay, so again, right, what else we got? What else do we have? Oh dear. Let's go through some of these other dates. What I've got in here, right? This one's interesting. This is the day that the clock tower actually stops in Back to the Future. Yeah, I know the clock stops at 10:04, but the actual date is the 12th of November. And note that they released clocks on 11/11, the day before. Kind of interesting. But look at this, right? Through to the actual release. Oh well, it's right here. Through to the not even looking at the screen properly. Through to the release of clocks, yeah. The song. Okay, this number right here. Now, this Kiss Cam event thing happened on 7/16. Yeah, I mean that's not too much of a stretch. And check it out, 47 years. We just mentioned in the 74 there. Now we're on the 47. Yeah, same number, switch it round. 4774. Okay, so we've done that one, right? So that was interesting. Again, we've got this is the clock stopping in Back to the Future through to the UK release of the song. Okay, let's click it. I just thought this was interesting. We got the 1988 here. Okay, with the prime number. Again, 19 and the 88. Oh, these numbers are so connected. Every time you see an 88 reference, yeah, it's almost a direct reference back to Back to the Future, back to 9/11. 88 in the Fibonacci cycle balances with the number 11 that forms the 911, yeah, in the cycle. Yeah, if you were to draw, let me just show you real quick. If you were to draw a cycle, yeah, and 9, this is the start and stop point. 911 is here, right? And in fact, you were to go straight down through like a clock, right? Where you're going to see the 88 reflected is over here, okay? 88. It's going to be directly across from the number 11, the 88 is. They are pairs, yeah? This is a twin, this is a twin, and these two are twins together, okay? They're opposites of one another in the cycle. Okay, that's why why 88 is just so important with 911, and that's why you see so many 88 references with 911, because it is directly referencing the 11 in 911. Okay, right. So that was interesting. That was just interesting. 1988. I also did the clock stopping through to 824. I just thought it'd be interesting just to see if there was anything interesting about the number. And again, the number itself, if you click on it, isn't anything really special until you just draw a line down the middle of this thing and you realize that we've got the 88 again, and then we've got 254, which is the day of the year when 9/11 takes place. Okay, the 254th day of the year. I don't know if there's anybody else splits numbers like that. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe it's just reading too much into it. I don't know. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I could have done with that. No, I don't need that left on. Anyway, so we've covered quite a lot of that. I don't know if I need to go back over the plutonium stuff again. There was a couple other number jumps in here though that I want to show you, and this is one of them. Okay, now you know what this is. This is Chris Martin's birthday through to 7/18, or I suppose, anyway, if we went back to the 16th, okay, well, that's marginally interesting, but anyway, what was interesting about this was the fact that it was palindropic again, and I was like, look at that, coming out palindropic on the 187 numbers here. Again, the 187 was tying back with the astronomer again. Yeah. So the 187 with Clara Clayton, who is the astronomer. Yeah, an astronomer was matching up with Chris Martin. Okay, with the 132, blah blah blah. Clara Clayton is the astronomer, and then Mary Steinbergen, yeah, with the 187. I don't know. Is that too much of a stretch matching that up? I'm not sure. Anyway, where was we at? Right here. Note also, what's interesting about this whole thing though, with the 187, and again the 187, the murder, death, kill number, it is kind of that whole situation, right? Let me explain. The whole situation, that whole ritual is a reference to that dude being in the Matrix, yeah? The Byron character there, yeah? Being in the Matrix. Andy is in the Matrix, right? He is in, yeah, the 187, the murder, death, kill, right? And in fact, when that happened, when the kiss cam got him, it was like that was the end for him, yeah? Yeah. A murder, death, kill number showing up with these numbers, okay, to do with Chris Martin, okay, and This is the date again in here. Okay. Okay. Well, at least the numerology, yeah. The 16th of July. Okay, we've got that numerology in there for an event to occur. I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. What other stuff have I got in here, Dan? Come on, what else is this? What else we got here? Oh, this was the other thing, right? I thought I'd better do. Well, I don't know. Anyway, let me just go through this. So, clocks. Well, let's go to it, right? So the release of clocks, okay, in the US. Look at this. The 824 again, okay, the numerology again, 824, let's see where it comes out, 6-3, kind of interesting because, yeah, clocks 63-36, okay, kind of interesting, yeah, kind of interesting with the 824 again. And all this 824 stuff is to do with the 48-year cycle of Pluto. And this set of numbers here is heavily encoded in Lucas numbers. Okay? Yeah? And Lucas numbers gives us our, the 4-7. Yeah? Is in, well, let's just go to it. I've got it right here. Look. Here's Lucas numbers. Yeah? Here's our 4-7. Here is the middle of the table, which is running straight through with Lucas numbers. Notice the 1, the 11-18, which can be, you can whizzle that down to a 118. Okay. Notice what is to the side of what is going on here. 47-47. Yeah. Independence Day. Note this. The 7 column here is the combination of these two things together. Okay. So 11 plus 18 equals 29. If I reduce these two numbers separately, 11 reduces to 2, 18 reduces to 9. Okay, so you see your 218 when Pluto was discovered. Yeah, this Pluto reference. You see 9/11. Okay, and I'm not going to do it here, but there's a whole bunch of number jumps you can do in here that relate back to Pluto. It is just so encoded in Lucas numbers. It's just not funny. Anyway, I always thought something might happen to do with 2-9, because this is the ultimate balance number, because not only is it these two added together, but it's also their individualities, their reductions, their roots as well. So it's a separate, it keeps the identities separate of these two things, but it also combines them. So it's the perfect combination. And notice that it's in the 7 column here. Yeah, notice that Diana's white wedding, 7/29. Okay, the white wedding. Okay, Billy Idol with a Madonna lookalike in there from Who's That Girl. I mean, I'll tell you one other thing. 148 is also encoded in these numbers, and without actually, I mean, I want to say, when did I do that? It might have been, was it Christmas a year ago or Christmas 2 years ago that I did the Pluto numbers that are in here. I'm not sure. If anybody's interested in it, leave a comment in the video, below, and I'll look it up for you, give you the reference for it so you can see the numbers of Pluto in here. Yeah, because right here, okay, when we get to 14, yeah, clock tower numbers again, clock stopping, this 843, okay, we're a digit off, but when we actually look at the total up to this point, up to the 322, the total up to this point is actually 842. Okay, so when I add up all of these numbers along here, it will come out to 842. Fascinating, isn't it? That 322 matches up with this 842 quite nicely. Okay, I'm gonna have to leave it there. Waffled on long enough. I mean, we've covered everything, I think. Oh, one more thing to cover. This is the video for the song, the official video for the song Clocks. There is nothing really going on in here. All they're doing is they're just on stage singing the song, okay? Right? At a concert, so this is kind of I suppose this is kind of interesting that they were at a concert when all this stuff occurs. But anyway, the only thing that really occurs in this, that there's some bits and pieces that you can kind of decode out of here in colours and whatnot, but this thing flies, this water bottle with the water spilling out of it. Oh dear. Yeah, the tank being emptied. Yeah, the Hoover Dam breaking. Okay, so I just thought it was interesting. And of course, then they sing the end part of this, which is, you can see here, home, home, where I wanted to go. Yeah, where Marty wants to go home. And this is what that ritual is all about: is coming out of the Matrix, returning back to Mother Nature, so to speak, or the Holy Mother Mary. Yeah, that's home, home, back with God. Okay, rather than in our own creations, so to speak, corrupted creations. Okay, was there anything else I needed to mention in here? I'm not sure why I had this up. 244, 244th day of the year. I had a connection in there somewhere, and I had I had Pluto up as well. Plutonium, sorry. I think I feel like I've missed something out of one of these number jumps here. There was something interesting with one of the number jumps. Well, anyway, it's too late now because Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so you can actually see now why 47 is actually really quite important to do with the numbers of Pluto. And also the other thing was with the Pete Hegseth, with the 118, yeah, because Doc's car forms that 118. Yeah, Doc's car is a Packard 8 in the thing, and then we have the fire trails from the DeLorean forming the 11. So 811, super duper interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Hope I haven't forgotten anything. Oh, Gillette's just mentioned this as well. Where Gillette Stadium, yeah, the best a man can get. What did I want to say about this? I think I did have maybe I had a number jump with that as well. I don't know. Anyway, who plays at Gillette Stadium? Yes, it's the Patriots and also the New England Revolution. This whole idea of a sort of, the Patriot with the restart, with the revolution. Yeah, okay. You get where, it's quite an interesting reference as well, isn't it? And look at it's one Patriot place. 1PPL, kind of interesting with the pi references, and we could go through all this stuff down here and all these numbers, but we're not going to do it. Okay, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm going to call it. I feel like I've missed something out of here, but oh well. It'll be in the comments, of course, as usual. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on another one soon. Okay, all right, cheers, bye.